Tonight, see which students were handing out their resumes today.
Plus, find out how you can get a better look at Trojan athletics. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for September 5th, 2013. I'm Haley Greathouse.
And I'm Courtney Addison. Thank you for joining us this evening. The Bibb Graves main floor was packed this morning with accounting students handing out resumes and searching for internships at the 22nd Annual Accountancy Day program. Connor McCreary shows us more.
Students in the accounting department got a chance to work with potential employers at Troy's Accountancy Day. Resumes, business cards, and company freebies were passed around as students learned about internships and policies from the various firms.
You get a lot of contacts, and by shaking hands and meeting people, and even if it's an email address that you get to say, hey, I need help with this, what do I need to do, what's my next step to becoming a CPA.
They tell you that it's fun, it's a lot more than just numbers.
Mixed into the crowd of fresh students were many Accountancy Day veterans who were more than happy to share some advice.
If you're an accounting major looking for a job, I say start when you're a freshman, go on and start getting your face recognized. So by the time it's time for you to graduate, you have more than one people knocking at your door saying, do you want a job?
I highly recommend that every student, whether you're looking for an internship or not, come and just network with the people and meet them so that when you are looking for an internship, they know you and they have an idea of who you are.
Come to these events. Take the opportunity to become more professional, practice your resume skills, practice your interview skills, and then they'll be successful.
With appearances by both local and national firms, including the FBI, one thing can for sure be said.
Accounting's not as boring as I thought it was.
Connor McCreary, Troy TrojanVision News.
The Accountancy Day is sponsored by the firms who attend, and this year 18 firms attended the Brow session.
Every Wednesday, students have the opportunity to meet with various professors to discuss an article from the New York Times and have a free lunch. Jamarlo Phillips has the details.
Troy University makes copies of the New York Times available every day to students as a part of its reading initiative. And each week, a Troy University faculty member sits down with students to discuss a topic from the paper as a part of its Times Talk program. Wednesday afternoon, Dr. Jeff Spurlock spoke with students for the first time of the fall semester.
Researched a newspaper article that came out about a month ago regarding 3 Vermont sisters who have joined their dad in running 3 weekly newspapers in the state of Vermont, and they're seeing profits. Unlike a lot of the newspapers that we're seeing around the country that are either downsizing or folding, these newspapers in small-town Vermont are making a business.
The topic was interesting to students, especially since the discussion was on newspapers themselves.
Today we discussed the newspapers, how they're not printing out newspapers, they're mainly just putting it on webs now. It was very interesting. I learned a lot more than I thought I would.
We talked about a few sisters that are doing local newspapers and how they just aren't cutting it anymore because people are turning to like social media, television instead of those newspapers.
Spurlock says he was happy with the participation of the students.
I think it was a great turnout that we had here today. There were a number of students who were very interested in the topic, and the discussion that we had afterwards, the Q&A that we had afterwards regarding where are newspapers going, where's journalism, where were we, where are we now, and where we're going.
Jamarlo Phillips, Troy TrojanVision News.
The next Time Talk will be next Wednesday in Trojan Center Room 119.
And this Monday, Trojan fans will have the chance to get a peek at the work that goes into Troy athletics behind the scenes. Troy Sports Management Club will present their 2nd annual Chalk Talk event that will give fans the chance to hear from and ask questions to Troy coaches, including head football coach Larry Blakeney and director of athletics John Hartwell. Organizers feel this should be a good experience for all Trojan fans.
A big draw is definitely getting to interact with Coach Blakeney and with our AD, John Hartwell. So it's just a great opportunity for fans to come out and they get to really have a one-on-one conversation with those coaches, really get updates on what's going on within the athletics department.
Chalk Talk will be this Monday at 6:30 in Trojan Arena. It is free and open to the public.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Birmingham, the Alabama National Guard says it will follow a Pentagon policy and honor requests for military benefits for same-sex couples. A Guard spokeswoman, Lieutenant Colonel Shannon Hancock, said Wednesday it's too early to say whether any benefit requests have already been processed.
And in Bessemer, a nonprofit group is looking to raise money to turn a jail cell that held Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights activists into a tourist attraction. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office found the original doors to the cell that held King for a night before he was sent to the Birmingham jail on a charge of disturbing the peace.
And in Opelika, 2 women have been convicted on charges of hitting children while working at a daycare center. 28-year-old Kimberly Santana Frazier and 29-year-old Adrian Wright were convicted on 4 counts each of harassment. The 2 women worked at Dandyland Daycare Center.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the volleyball team played their first game of the Active Ankle Challenge earlier today. Mitchell Spoon will tell us more when he joins us with sports. Now Mitchell Spoon joins us with sports. So Mitchell, everyone is really getting geared up for the football game that's going to be on Saturday. Going to be a really big game. Hopefully we have good weather for it. But let's not forget that volleyball actually played a game today.
That's right. They played their first game at noon against Wisconsin Green Bay in the Active Ankle Challenge in Auburn. Now I'll let you know how they did coming up in sports. While everyone's been talking about the accomplishments that quarterback Corey Robinson made during the UAB game, there were a few other players that had special nights as well.
Running backs Jordan Shun and Brandon Burks bring another threat to the Trojan offense. They can run the ball, of course, but also they can catch the ball and tear up field if you don't watch out for them. In the UAB game, Burks had 9 carries for 41 yards rushing with a touchdown that came in the first quarter. He also caught the ball 5 times for 29 yards. His counterpart, Jordan Chun, is just as explosive. He had 10 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown in the fourth quarter and caught the ball 3 times for 29 yards, and that's only game 1. The rushing duo are expected to get only better carrying the ball and carrying each other along the way.
The thing about it is being a good teammate, a good brother. You know, you push them. You know, I was telling them when I score, or in the first half, I was like, look, we need to get it going. You know what I'm saying? I said, I know I'm going, y'all gonna go in. I said, just be ready. You know, so that's what I told him. And when we were sitting there, he was like, he was hot. And so I just told Coach, keep him in, Coach. You know what I'm saying? I just like to win games. And I just told him keep him in, and he was running the ball hard. And I told him he's coming. And next thing he scored. And I had a big smile on my face. I couldn't stop smiling. It was like a little brother moment.
Another player that shined in the game was dual threat quarterback Deion Anthony. In case you didn't hear, Anthony is more of a 3-headed monster himself. He can pass, run, and catch the ball all in one game. Against the Blazers, Anthony didn't complete a pass attempt, but he ran the ball 12 times for 61 yards and a touchdown, and also caught the ball twice for 58 yards. Players know just how much of a skill player he is.
Deion, he had a great game tonight. I think, he came in there and he was not going to be denied on that one touchdown, and I commend him for that. We needed that. That was a big point of the game right there when he pushed about 3 or 4 guys backwards. So proud of him for that. Get it in his hands. That's what I've been saying all summers. We got to get it in 7's hands, whether he's taking the snap or catching the football. If you notice, we came back to it later and got another 6 or 7 yards. But the way he started off the first play of the game, that was huge. That was really good, man, and he's an explosive player.
These dangerous players to their full potential on Saturday when they play against Savannah State inside Veterans Memorial Stadium at 6 p.m. And the Trojan volleyball team was out on the road in Auburn participating in the Active Ankle Challenge earlier today. The Trojans faced the Wisconsin Green Bay Phoenix in a first ever matchup between the schools, and things didn't turn out the way Troy wanted them to. After winning the first set 25-20, the Trojans fell in the next 3 sets 29-31, 23-25, and lastly 19-25. The Trojans were led by junior Maria Zelinovic with 19 kills. And at last check, the Trojans were losing 14-10 against the Mercer Bears. And the Troy soccer team opens up a 3-game road trip by facing a pair of in-state opponents this weekend. The Trojans traveled to Birmingham on Friday to face UAB at 5 p.m. And then on Sunday, the Trojans move over to Auburn to face the Tigers at 2 p.m. Troy enters the weekend with a 2-2 record after a 1-1 finish in the Trojan Classic. The Trojans go into the weekend ranked 3rd in the Sun Belt in points with 27 and 4th in goals with 9. while the Trojan backline has only allowed 4 goals in the first 4 matches. That amount is the 3rd best mark in the league. UAB comes into Friday's matchup with a 3-1 record after picking up a 3-2 overtime win at South Carolina. Head coach Chris Bentley says he is confident his team can come away with a couple of wins.
Friday we've got UAB. There's been some common opponents in there, so we kind of have an idea of what we're going against. But I mean, you know, with UAB, you're really focused on them. Auburn on Sunday. We've looked at results, got a good idea of where things are going, but it will be a challenge both games. I think we certainly can compete in both games and try to gain a result out of both games. But we've got to be prepared and continue to improve on ourselves if we expect to get a result.
Today's meeting marks the first time the Trojans and the Blazers will meet as opponents in soccer. And the Troy softball program will be holding a groundbreaking ceremony for a brand new softball complex on Saturday at 10 a.m. at the current softball complex. The new facility will include renovations to the field and dugouts, as well as a new practice facility and an expanded press box. Construction for the $3 million facility is scheduled to begin soon and is expected to be completed in the spring of 2014. So, Courtney, Haley, you know, hopefully the Trojans can get that win in Auburn against the Mercer Bears. Unfortunately, they didn't win against the Green Bay Phoenix, but, you know, like I said, hopefully they can win against the Bears.
Actually, hopefully they'll be able to set their game up and get things back under control.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mitchell.
Thank you.